In this video we will be making the simple macrame plant hanger, as you can see in the picture here. So for this project you will also need scissors, measuring tape, you'll need a brush to comb out fringe. It doesn't have to be like this one, just a brush or a comb was fine. And you will need a hoop like this, or a ring, and I'm going to give you the measurements as well for the cords that you'll need. So I'm just going to turn this around so you can see it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is a setup, how to set up where you're going to actually, the space you're going to use to make this. So I am in the workshop, so I have a metal bar here and an S-hook. If you don't have, obviously, you know, like a curtain rail or anything like that, you can, you know, usually if a curtain rail will do, if it's secure on your wall, you could use it from there. Or if you have some sort of hook that's at the back of your wall, you could pop the likes of the S-hook onto that too. So S-hook over the bar, the ring gets popped onto the S-hook there, and that's the ring that we're going to use for tying up your ropes. The next thing you're going to do is you need your rope. So the rope I'm using is 4mm in diameter, and it is a 3-ply cotton rope. So you cut 6 pieces of rope at 4 meters for each piece of rope. You're going to fold them in half. You take them and put them through the ring. Hold the centerpiece with your thumb, because this is going to be on the ring, because you want each strand to be the same length. Make sure they're all in a line, that it's nice and straight as well. So the next thing you're going to do is tie 2 square knots to secure the rope onto the hoop. So in the previous video I showed you how to do these square knots, so if you want to refer back to that, I'm just going to tell you which knots to use, but if you refer back to the other video, which will tell you how to make the knots. So that's the first square knot. And the second square knot. So that's it. So the next thing you start with is take 4 pieces of cord. Try and get the ones that are beside each other. And you're going to work on these 4 cords first of all. And you're going to tie 6 square knots right from the top. So that's your first strand started. You're now going to turn your hoop around the opposite way. And at the back here, you have your other chords. So with these, you're going to make another 2 sonnets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 chords and 6 square knots again. And your last 4 chords, again 6 square knots. Back to your first sonnet, you're going to measure down 6 centimeters and measure from the very end of the last square knot down. Hold that spot. And then you're going to tie 2 square knots. It's a little bit trickier when you've dropped down, but if you just try and hold your middle ropes even, it'll hold it in place. And you follow that immediately with a half knot spiral of 12 knots. So the half knot spiral again is in the previous video. So half knot spiral over the 2 middle with your left side, right cord underneath the right cord comes through behind the filler cords and through here, and you just keep working from the left side. So this is 1 half square knot, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's your first half of your first sonnet done, okay? And turn this back around. For your second sonnet, you're going to drop down this time, you're going to drop down 10 centimeters. Hold it there. And again, you're going to do 2 square knots followed by 12 half knot spirals. So 1 and 2. So that's your 2 square knots. And now 12 of your half knot spiral. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to turn it back around to the first spiral, and we're going to do 6 square knots underneath. Back to the second spiral again, and we're going to do just 2 square knots on this one. The third one we're going to do exactly the same as number 2 spiral here. So you're going to drop down again your 10 centimeters. You want to measure it up as well against the other square knot to make sure they're kind of at the same length for these two. So 2 square knots. And then your 12 half knot spiral. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then again 2 square knots straight underneath. now I'm turning it back over again to the first one. You're going to drop down. I'm actually going to lift it up a bit higher for you. You're going to now drop down 15 centimeters and tie 2 square knots. So again, measure from your last square knot down. And 2 square knots. I'm going to turn these back around again. We're going to drop down 15 centimeters here as well and tie 2 square knots. Now, if it doesn't work out, you're better off kind of going by those 2 square knots there, roughly to measure off where you want your other knots to be on this strand. So 1, 2, and again we're going to do the same on this one. So I'm just going to measure off where this one is. And 2 square knots. And the next thing you're going to do now is to bring your strands together. So you want each one of them joined here, so you're forming a basket shape. So I'm just going to show you how to do that now. So to bring your basket shape together, you want to attach all of these together. So one strand to another strand, it's called an alternating square knot. So we're going to take 2 strands from this cord, 2 strands from this cord. We bring the middle 2 together to form the filler chords, and then we take the left and right cord and we're going to make a square knot, roughly about 6 centimeters down. And again, we're going to join this cord to this one. So 2 from this, 2 from this one. Keep your middle 2 as filler chords and tie another square knot. We twist it around this way. This is the last one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 in the middle, 2 on the outside. So that's the kind of start of your basket shape that's going to hold your plant pot. But if the next part now, you're going to join it again one more time just to keep it secure. So you've got 2 in the middle again. So you're joining again each one together again. So you're going to alternate. So that one was that way, and then we're joining them this way. So 2 from one cord, 2 from another, 2 cords together in the middle, 2 filler cords, and a square knot about 1 centimeter, roughly about 1 or 2 centimeters down. Again, joining these 2 together. And the last 2. So that's your basket shape. You're now going to do like a wrapped knot, which again is in the previous video, to bring all the cords together. So this is your final piece, your final knot on making the basket. You want to bring all your strands here together and put a secure knot underneath the basket shape. So you will take, say, about 1 meter of rope. You leave one end over, say, the previous knots that you have made. You make a loop at the end. And you want to bring your wrapped knot underneath the last round of square knots that you've done, and wrap it nice and securely around. That should do. And then underneath here you have your little loop. You put your rope through here and you pull on the top one. Until your knot, you can feel it there, just feel that your knot is somewhere in the middle here. And then you're just going to cut off this piece. You don't need to cut off the bottom piece because you're going to be cutting your fringe anyway. So that's your wrapped knot, and now you have your basket shape. So the only thing left to do is then your fringing. So you can cut the ends for your fringing for whatever length that you want to have. I am going to cut it about here. And then with your 3-strand rope, you need to unravel the actual rope itself. So if you just twist it from the top and just pull out each strand as you go. Now, and what you could do then with the fringing is you could actually just give it a little brush if you want. With the 3-ply rope, it actually creates a nice fringe anyway as it is, but if you want to just brush it down just to straighten it out. It just makes it more fluffy. And then you would just trim the ends. And that's it. I'm just going to show you with a little plant in it. Thanks so much. Bye.